Hey, 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 welcome to the You Are Covered podcast. I'm Hannah Lynn Miller, and you are joining me from my closet. That's what I'm calling my office that also doubles as a closet. I am sitting here as my daughter is taking a nap, and my husband is at the church, which is across the street. And I am just going to enjoy talking to you. Here's the thing, we have so much to catch up on, but for now, I want to kind of just talk to you about something that I had written a while ago and it came to surface. I was thinking about it again recently because I had like a couple of clients just talk to me about friendship and what it means to kind of have friends change and the disappointment that comes with that and trying to figure out, hey, what do we do when that happens and how do we move on, or how do we make new friends? How do we deal with the fact that sometimes we do have friends in our life just for a short season? And how do we go forward and be okay with making new friends? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. I am so excited. I actually had to recently buy a new laptop. So that's what I am on now. I got really upset with Apple. Let me just put this charger somewhere. I got really upset with Apple and I was kind of like, I'm breaking up with you, MacBook Pro. I am tired of having to buy one every 5 years was too much for me. You know, I could feel that. I was like, okay, 4 to 5 years, I feel like that's too soon. But my last laptop that I bought, just totally on my own with my business, it just totally died on me at year 2. And I was so upset. I was like, okay, we're going to try something new. And here's the thing, guys. The camera in this Surface Pro is 10 times better. I don't even need my vlogging camera because that was what held me back most of the time from recording with you guys, was having to set up a whole camera thing. And we're going to see how this turns out on YouTube. Maybe I guess I probably shouldn't get ahead of myself, but I'm recording this and using the camera from my Surface Pro. I think I have a Surface Pro 9 right now. I'll have to get back to you on that one, but it's the newest Surface laptop. It's a Surface Pro laptop or Surface something. Okay, anyways, I'm excited about it, and you'll have to let me know how this looks, on YouTube, on socials. But yeah, let's dive in because I have really been thinking about this topic of friendship. I think ever since becoming a mom. No, that's a total lie. I've been thinking about friendship as it pertains to life seasons when my friend started to become a mom. And it's been a near and dear topic of mine. There's 2 topics that I kind of think about a lot, just personally, and I know that my clients deal with this a lot. It's friendship, the importance of it, and then there's also the friendship with your siblings. So those 2 relationships I find fascinating, and how they impact our lives and how much we think, oh, it's just it's just nice. It's nice to have friends around, or it's nice to have family around, or have relationships with friends. But that's not necessarily the case. It is so actually crucial to our mental health, our wellness. So many things can factor into who we have around. And I would love to do more studying on the sibling relationship and how it impacts people to have an actual like healthy friendship with their siblings, and what can parents do to make those better. So that's like maybe another conversation that I would like to dive into. I don't know, let me know if you find these like fascinating, or if you're curious about it. I think these are very important relationships, and that we don't usually talk about them all the time. And I think friendship is the same. I think we have such a focus on the romantic relationships in our culture, and we don't always talk about the importance of friendship. And that goes for everyone. I mean, guys and girls, you know? So I wrote this blog post, and I will link it in the show notes down below. But I want to take you back to a time when John and I were very newly married, probably like 2 months in at this point. We lived in this tiny, tiny apartment. Like, it was so small. It was 550 square foot apartment. It's like technically a studio. So I moved there right around the same time that I met John. I had to renew my lease somewhere, and I decided that I wanted an apartment that kind of would separate the bedroom from the living room, which is kind of challenging when it's a studio. So I had the studio for a year in, I think it was Rogers Park. It was 1 block from the Lake Michigan. So I would just walk across the street, walk past a few houses, and bam, there I was on the beach. It was amazing. Like, I think I had the best year of my life that year that I was I was working, and I lived in that apartment. So that apartment was tiny. I don't even know how big that was, or small. I mean, it was probably the size of this room that I'm in right now, my cloffice, or whatever I'm calling it. So I moved from that apartment, moved into this new one that was, I gotta be honest, a little dingy, but it separated this like little teeny tiny room that I put my bed in, and that was it. You couldn't fit anything else. And it separated, it had like a door, and then the room in front of it was kind of this tiny little kitchenette and like a living space. So it kind of blocked it off. So I had found this apartment, and it was in Andersonville. So still not that far from the lake. Such a great time. I would go on runs and everything on the Lakeshore Drive path. It was so great. So anyways, when John and I got married, he kind of moved into this apartment, and I loved this apartment so much. But looking back, it's so crazy that we did that. We both barely had anything to our name. It was just like bare bones, everything. He had been he got a job at Moody Publishing for a little bit, and he was going to be working there. And he was also a part-time youth pastor at the church that we're still at now. And so, I don't know, it was just a great time. But there was this little, I can just picture it. It was this little shop underneath the L. And so, in the L is like the train that goes around Chicago. And we were walking past it one day. I think we were getting off of the L actually. And we walked right past this store, and I looked in real fast, and I almost missed it because there was no sign outside of it. I think there were a couple windows, and maybe there was a sign on the door, but if you didn't go kind of in, I don't even know how to explain this, but it was just easy to walk past it and not know what this building or this room or this store was. So I look over and I'm like, oh my gosh, John, there's like a thrift store right here. And he knew how much I loved fashion at the time. I was writing my fashion blog and everything. And he was like, oh yeah, we could go in there. Like, he doesn't care. But we found a lot of fun things, I think, at this store. I'm pretty sure he found he found some Adidas shoes at the store. So he bought some Adidas shoes at this thrift store, and then I found this oversized like Levi jean jacket that was white, and I still have it. It's like the perfect length on me. I don't know if it's men's or not, but anyways, it's just a fun memory for me. But I was just thinking about how we could have kept walking, how easily it can be missed to find like a really cool shop in Chicago. Like that's just what it is. And it reminds me so much of what it's like to get to know people and how scary it can be to meet new people in life, because most people are like that. Like they don't have signs above their head saying, hey, you can be friends with me. Hey, you can trust me. Hey, you can go on a date with me. Hey, you should marry me. That would be a good idea. Like we have to, it's like, we don't know until you get to know that person, right? People are hidden adventures in a way. And a lot of times they can be easily missed. And I think that the reason is that a lot of times we're taking it at face value when we meet new people. We don't dig in deep. We don't have that gift of like asking questions. And sometimes I've noticed this, if you're in an area or if you just never really moved or had to meet new people, you can either forget that skill, you can have a hard time learning it, because here's the thing. You don't know that person's story. So if you grew up maybe in a smaller town, maybe you just ended up knowing everybody around you, it's hard to think that, hey, I don't actually know you from face value, right? Because that's an easy assumption, but you don't. And so an easy way to dig or to open that door is to ask questions. And that can be really hard to do, but that's really, 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 really important. Asking questions and getting to know what's inside a person can, so to speak, be a trip. Don't let the unknown hold you back. That's my message for you today as we talk about this topic, because many times I can see that clients, myself, friends, we can kind of weigh the cost. Like sometimes we can say, okay, I don't really want to make new friends. Is this friend actually going to work out? Like, are they actually going to be worth my time and effort to pour into a friendship? Have you been there? Have you thought about that? Is that how you view relationships and friendship? And it could even be getting to know somebody for a potential partner in life. You could even think that way, say for dating. Is this going to be worth my time and effort to invest in this person, get to know this person, be intentional? And I really do think that if you have that mindset, it probably comes from a place of wanting to be intentional for the other person. And I don't think that's a bad thing all the time. But let me just challenge you. What is holding you back from being open to new relationships? What is holding you back? Could it be fear? Could it be past hurt? I think that a lot of times we have a mixture of grief and fear, especially in a time where it can be hard or difficult to make new friends. It can be because you go through a friendship breakup. I think we need to normalize that a lot more, because it happens and it's painful and it's not fun. And you can have all these wonderful memories with somebody and look back and with that pain of that person's not in my life anymore. And it's okay that that person isn't in my life anymore, but it still hurts. And I think that if we had more conversations around it, that would be so helpful, right? When friendships end, there can be a lot of grief that comes with it. Whether the friendship ends because of a move, a job change, new life season, conflict, there can be a sense of loss. It's not like somebody died, but that person isn't in your life to the capacity that they used to be. It could even be that they just moved a little bit further away, or they're not working at the same workplace as you. And you can be experiencing grief and not even know it, because those things impact your day to day. Because again, friendship is really, really important. Recognizing that you may need some grief work or time to process the endings of those relationships can be really healthy. I don't think we do that enough. Taking a pause can prepare you to open up the space in your heart for a new friend again. So John and I, we disagree on how we enjoy restaurants. Just slightly. Like, we both love to travel, so we both love trying new things. But there's a reason why we like to try new things, and those reasons are slightly different, okay? So I enjoy an atmosphere. I enjoy experiencing something, creating a memory, and I also like to go back to that restaurant if it holds that special place for me. Like, I love revisiting, there's Hemingway's in Oak Park, and John and I will go to this restaurant in Oak Park probably twice or at least once a year. And it's usually around my birthday, or it's around our anniversary, depending on which one we travel for. So sometimes we go on a trip for my birthday, and then the anniversary will go to Hemingway's. And I just love, I mean, it just makes me so happy because I love this restaurant so much. My husband, John, he loves a good new restaurant. He loves trying food he's never tasted before. He likes the risk of a new place to eat. He loves critiquing what was good and what was bad. And it's not a loss for him at all if it was a miss. You know, like when you go to a restaurant and you're like, okay, that wasn't that great. Like, he doesn't mind the risk of like going and experiencing something that wasn't the best, right? And I love our relationship because we definitely have a balance. We can have new experiences and appreciate the old ones. And I love looking back on a few things that are different, but equally as special and exciting and fun. There was a taco restaurant behind our apartment the first time that I kind of moved to the city, like, and I knew, okay, this is gonna be it's after college, and it was with a bunch of girls, and I never went to that taco place again. Like, we were there for maybe 3 months, and I never visited that place again. But in my mind, like, that's a special time. It was such a growing time. It was like a coming of age time for me, that I love thinking about that taco restaurant that was in the back of the apartment that I lived in for such a short time. But then I also love something like the coffee shop that was outside my workplace that I would frequent for like 5 years. And that's the place that my husband and I met for the first time. We matched on a dating app and then met at this coffee shop, and I continue to go to it. It's Foxtrot. They almost closed all the locations down, and now they're back. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, those are two different ways of looking at restaurants or new experiences. And I think friendships can also feel the same way. You know, it's a beautiful thing to have a seasoned friendship. I mean, we just got back from vacation, and we were visiting a couple of our older friends, like John's best friend from college. We went to visit him and his family, and that was amazing. So wonderful. And then, you know, then on the way back, we went to Nashville, and we were able to see my friend Katie, who I went to high school with. And those friendships are just so dear. And now having a daughter, like, being able to introduce them to my daughter and watch them like love on her the same way that they love us, it's so cool. Anyways, friendships are like that. They provide a space for your tired heart that gives you comfort as a feeling of familiarity wraps around you. Newer friendships are like finding a risky new place to eat. You don't know what will happen. However, there are two ways this risk can end. Either you get to know a new person who has their own story, experiences, and beautiful perspectives that you are able to learn about for a short time before you go your separate ways. Or you can hold on to that friendship as a beautiful relationship with tons of life memories and experiences, just like the old coffee shop my husband and I met at. Both situations are an adventure, risky, and you can come out with more memories and lessons. Neither, I would argue, is a waste of time. In order to open yourself up to new friendships, I would shift your perspective from viewing friends. Let me encourage you to look inward and ask yourself if you are viewing connection and friendship as something you consume versus something you experience. When we view others in our lives as someone to serve us, that is having a consumerism mindset about relationships. And no wonder you view short-term friendships as a waste of time. There's really no way for an individual to give you more than experiences, presence, and connection, especially in a short period of time. When you make this shift, pouring yourself into getting to know another person, another human being, it's never a waste of time. And you can appreciate the fact that you'll get experiences and memories and that support system over time. In theology, we learned the phrase Imago Dei, excuse me. That's from Genesis 1:27, or created in God's image, and each person we come across is a mirror of who God is. I have found this to be so true with my experience as being a therapist. Each one of my clients has taught me so much. And even my clients who I will only see 3 times and then they will, for whatever reason, stop going to sessions, I still feel like that time was not a waste. There's a reason that we met a few times, and I'm still honored to be a small part of their story. The same can be with you when you meet an individual and you're only friends for 3 months. You never know what a relationship can become, what a friendship can be. You also never know when a risky last-minute meetup could be a familiar space for you to celebrate life with. If you're feeling stuck with making friends, here are some tips. First, focus on how you can be a good friend. You can only control who you are. Look at your hobbies and interests and find people to join you. If you don't have hobbies, maybe this is your sign to start one. Free up time to be more available to others. That's important because if you are closed off, people are going to feel that. Reach out to more established friendships and keep up with their lives. I think that this is really important because, again, friendship shouldn't dictate how your life seasons. If you're deciding to pour into and invest in a friendship, it should transcend moves, family, any kind of life circumstance. Ask yourself what you've been telling yourself about your worth. Are you telling yourself things like no one wants to be my friend, or I will be alone the rest of my life? Although these are just thoughts, they can actually work against your goals of connecting with others. Remember that friendship doesn't have to be a forever thing, and it's okay if people are only in your life for a season. Friendships, whether fleeting or long-lasting, contribute to the rich tapestry of your life experiences, and embracing each connection for what it brings. Be open to the lessons and joys that come with meeting new people. Take risks. Some of my favorite people are the ones that I only met in passing and may never see again. Cherish the moments, learn from the interactions, and understand that every friendship, no matter its duration, it has value. Life is a continuous journey of connections, and each one plays a part in shaping who you are. You can read more about this story on my blog at hannahlynnmiller.com, and I would love for you to visit there. You can also subscribe to my newsletter. All the links are down below in the description. Thanks so much for watching the You Are Covered podcast. I'll see you in the next episode. And remember that God's got you and you are covered.